Good morning and welcome. Today I'm making chicken pulao, and with this chicken pulao I'm going to have some shami kebab which I'm going to upload on the YouTube video as well. For the accompaniments with this chicken pulao and the shami kebab, I'm going to make some raita and some mint chutney. So the first thing I'm going to do for the chicken pulao is to make the broth of the chicken. So I've taken 600 grams of chicken. I've got boneless chicken breasts which I've cut into small pieces. You can have chicken with bone in it. It will give you perhaps more flavor because the bones. Into it I'm putting one small onion roughly chopped, and then I'm going to put few whole spices in it. So I've got few sticks of cinnamon. I got 6 cardamoms, green cardamoms, which I have squeezed to open the shell a little bit. I got 3 cloves, few cloves of garlic, 3 or 4 whole cloves of garlic, and I've got 2 black cardamoms, which again I've squeezed to open up the shell. I've got a teaspoonful of black peppercorns, and I have a combination of a tablespoonful of coriander seeds and tablespoonful of fennel seeds, 2-3 bay leaves, and a teaspoonful of cumin or zero. I'm also putting a teaspoonful of ginger paste in there. I'm putting about a liter of water in there and going to cook this for about 15-20 minutes until my meat is slightly tender. The chicken is going to cook a bit later as well when I'm making the base for the pulao, so I don't need to tenderize it completely, otherwise it will become too tender and fall to bits. While my chicken is cooking, I'm going to fry some onions. I've got 2 medium-sized onions which I finely sliced. I've heated up some cooking oil in the pan, and I'm going to put my onions in there and fry them until they're golden brown. So my onions are nice and brown now, so I'm going to turn the stove off. Separate half of these onions, which I'm going to use for garnish in the end. Now into these onions, the rest of them, I'm going to put some spices in there. So the spices I've chosen to go into my main dish, which is going to cook the chicken, is a tablespoonful of coriander seeds, teaspoonful of salt. Now the main spices I've chosen, as I'll show you here, I've got about half a teaspoonful of peppercorns, cumin seeds, 3 cloves, a small piece of cinnamon stick, about half a dozen green cardamoms, a bay leaf, few curry leaves, and 4 or 5 red dried chilies. And they're all going to go into my spice mix, and I'm going to grind them. So there we are, all my spices are ground and they smell lovely. So we're going to put these into our onions and cook them for a few minutes. In the meantime, my chicken been cooking for about 15 minutes, and as you can see, it's changed color and it's slightly tender than it was before. I got nice color in the soup and smells very nice. I'm going to take out the soup and I'm going to sieve it into a separate container and leave all the whole spices behind, which I'm going to throw away, and I'm going to take the chicken out. So there is our very clear chicken broth, and that is our chicken which is partly cooked. Now in the onions that I have fried earlier, I'm going to put the spice mix that we had just grinded, and I'm going to cook this for maybe 3-4 minutes until my spices are well cooked. As I have not used too much oil so far in frying my onions, I'm going to add a bit of ghee because I think ghee gives a very nice deep taste to the pulao or any other Asian dish. If you do not have ghee, don't worry about it too much, just use cooking oil and that should be fine. Next thing I'm adding in there is teaspoonful of garlic paste and teaspoonful of ginger paste. So my spices are well cooked, they smell nice. Going to put about a tablespoonful of tomato puree and 2 tablespoonfuls of yogurt. We'll cook this for another 2-3 minutes until the yogurt is cooked and you don't see the yogurt very much. So my yogurt and spices are well cooked now. I'm going to put our chicken. So I'm going to cook it for another maybe 10-15 minutes. I'm also going to put some potatoes. And now these are the potatoes we grew in our garden. They just came out a couple of days ago and grew quite well, and they're Charlotte potatoes. So I thought we have got so many now, so I better use them, otherwise they'll start going off in the cupboard. So I'm going to cook this until my chicken and potatoes are slightly cooked. To give some fluid in it, the broth that we cooked earlier, I'm going to put a little bit of fluid in there. So in this fluid, the chicken and potatoes will cook a little bit more. And I'll see you in about 5-10 minutes. So there we are. Our chicken is nicely cooked now. I think it's been cooking obviously in the broth for 15 minutes and another 10 minutes over here. The potatoes look almost half cooked, so the rest will cook when we are cooking the rice. Now I'm going to put rice in there. So I have 600 grams of good quality basmati, and I'm going to put the rice in the pot. And for the fluid, I'm going to add my broth. Since I had 2.5 cups, I need about 5 cups of broth in there, or fluid in there. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. And once I see the top of the rice bubbling, which means I can see little bubbles on top of the rice, then I'm going to turn the heat down and simmer it under a lid until the rice is completely cooked. So there we are. As you can see, little bubbles are appearing on top of the rice. So this is the time to turn the heat down completely. Rice still got a bit to go. Yeah, still got a bit to go. I'm going to cover it up now and turn the heat down completely. And another 5-10 minutes should be ready. So let's check the rice out, and rice seems to be cooked. I'm going to turn the stove off and just going to try some. Proof of the pudding is in eating it, as they say. Okay, let's try the rice. Very nice, very lovely rice. Nicely cooked, completely cooked. I better take the lid off, otherwise it will become too soft and mushy. Next thing I'm going to do is to garnish it with the onions that we fried earlier on. So that's that done. I'm going to put 4 green chilies. You can use red chilies if you want to. So I hope you enjoy this dish and do try it. And I'll see you soon. Until next time. Thanks for watching.